TCI Sports proudly presents High School Football 86. Tonight, the Warren Western Reserve Raiders battle the Warren Harding Panthers.
From Mollenkoff Stadium in Warren, Ohio, another TCI Sports presentation. And a pleasant good day to you, sports fans. I'm John Caparanus. Right next to me, Larry Miklas, and along with Bob Church and our TCI remote staff, we're going to be bringing you out of the action of this, the 19th meeting between the two Warren high schools, Warren Harding and Warren Western Reserve. The visiting team tonight, the Warren Western Reserve Raiders. Raiders leading in this series, 10 games to 8 over Warren Harding. Coming into the ballgame with a 5-4 mark, coached by Phil Annarella. The home team, the Warren Harding Panthers, 4-5 under Frank Thomas. Last time they won was in 1984, this meeting between the two ball clubs. And coming up, Warren Harding coming up, a couple of extremely impressive performances against the Massillon Tigers and Youngstown East.
Yes, that's going to be a big factor in tonight's game, Cap. Warren Harding will be emotional as well as reserve, and it's going to be the play of the defensive line for the Panthers. Can they contain Ford and keep this offense of Warren off the field, the reserve? Get the Panthers rolling on offense and see if they can move the football. They've had some trouble throughout the season. Offensive line for the reserve Raiders, they're just coming back and starting to mesh a little bit now. They had some injuries during the season. We're going to find out, though, if the Raiders can move the ball on the Panthers, which have an extremely good defense.
You know, if you'd sit down and plot, Larry, what type of weather you would want to play football in on a Friday night at the end of October in Northeast Ohio, tonight would be the night.
I think the weatherman calls for 43 degrees tonight around. It's going to drop down. I don't think we'll get down that far, maybe later on tonight, but usually during these games, watching you or sitting up in the stands, it's always earmuffs, the gloves, the long johns, but tonight it's beautiful, and these teams will be very emotional. They're not going to any computer playoffs. They're not battling for a championship of their new conference, but it's an emotional game, and you'll see in the first quarter the emotions of these young players. Some seniors who will never put on a football uniform again will just be letting it all out tonight.
You know, reserves 5-4, Warren Harding 4-5. Easily, both teams could tack on 2 or 3 more wins into the W column with a break here and a break there.
Sure, they have great credentials on their team. They're able to play with anybody in the state, as Harding showed a few weeks ago against Massillon. Anybody could win on any Friday or Saturday, and a few breaks here or there for reserve or Harding, and they would have had the more W's than the losses.
Okay, we're going to be back to go over the starting lineups with you, plus talk to both head coaches. But first, we're going to pause for this message.
Exercise to keep fit, so I look and feel my best. To keep my car body fit, I take it to Tough Coat Dynol for their System 6 Sunshine Glaze to keep it shined for years, their inner coat to protect its seats and carpets, and their 2-step penetrator rust protection to keep the body sound, so it looks great while I drive it, lasts longer, and is worth more when I trade it. Believe me, it pays to keep your body fit.
To keep your newer used car fit, insist on Tough Coat Dynol, the body fitness experts.
When you're in the market for any type of sign work, Zach Signs is a sign shop for you. Zach Signs has over 45 years combined experience in all types of signs, lettering, and designing. They'll work with you on creating just the right sign, whatever you need. Specializing in truck and window lettering, Zach Signs can also develop a sign using your logo for electric and franchise specs. Zach Signs has won national recognition from Signs of the Times magazine for their outstanding work. Remember, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. That's Zach Signs, 442 South Street, downtown Warren.
The girl in purple.
Yeah.
And with the black.
Welcome back to Mellencamp Stadium in Warren, Ohio, where the Warren Western Reserve Raiders and the Warren G. Harding Panthers will be squaring it off in a few minutes.
Right here.
You're going to be sitting right down
Right there. See right here?
And we'll be giving you the starting lineups.
Yeah. So you want me to tell you?
Excellent. Yeah, pleasure seeing you again.
Yeah.
And we'll be giving you the starting lineups in a few minutes. Both of these teams coming in, as we said earlier, not going anywhere in the computer playoffs or anywhere in their All-American Athletic Conference, but an emotional football game, and that's what we'll have tonight. There's the starting lineup for Warren Western Reserve Raiders. First of all, we'll look at the guards. Number 53, Casey Jordan and John Stringer. And at the tackles, we'll look at Damon Dowdell and Lester Stovall. And at the center, Bert Barris. And the two tight ends, Rod Dantzler, Chris Brogdon. And at your split end, be Sean Matlock. And in your backs, there's quarterback number 32, Bobby Allen, speedster Tony Ford, and Daryl Dukes playing fullback. Defensive ends, we'll look at John Stringer, Chris Brogdon. Defensive tackles, Garcelle Moss, Roger Williamson. Number 23, Rod Dantzler will be at linebacker along with Marlon Williamson. Destry Combs, another linebacker, and number 47, Travis Young. And your safeties, you will find Sean Matlock. Cornerbacks will be Charles Smith and Richard Page. John Caporanis had an interview with head coach Phil Arnarella, and here is that interview.
As here in Warren.
We're talking with Phil Arnarella, currently in his 9th season overall on the coaching staff of Warren Western Reserve, the last 6 as head coach of the Raiders. Coming into game number 10, finally get your offensive line back in shape.
Yeah, that was kind of nice last week, Cap. I think it makes a big difference when you can have some kids that were performing pretty well for you earlier in the year, and you know, it kind of helped us with our running game, obviously, when we were pieced together a little bit better.
You go back through that 9-year tenure at Warren Western Reserve. You ever see another performance put on, such as Tony Ford put on last week?
Well, we've had some great backs at reserve and kids that have lugged the ball a lot. And, you know, Tony's performance last week ranked right at the top with all of them. For his size, I don't think we've had a back as small as him lug the ball that many times. Vickers and Coleman were both bigger. And Tony soaking wet's only 150, and you know, he proved to be very durable. He took a pounding, and you know, he held up through it all. I was very proud of him. I thought it was a great performance. And of course, when a back can do that, the offensive line's giving him the opportunities to run the ball 38 times. So it was a good job by our offensive line.
Let's focus our attention on tonight's ball game, Phil. You're facing a sophomore quarterback that might be one of the best quarterbacks you faced all year.
Yeah, he is. He's really a good quarterback. I think that Coach Thomas has to be very pleased with the way he's performing. He's really come through in a couple of tough games and really excelled, particularly at throwing the football. He's kept his poise, and I think he's just done an outstanding job. And we've got our hands full tonight containing him.
Offensively, you're going up against a team that has an excellent defensive backfield. You haven't thrown the ball too much this year, basically relying on the running game. More of the same?
Well, I think a lot's going to depend on what Harding comes out and lines up in. I think, you know, if they do kind of what they did last year, which was put 10 or 11 guys up on the line of scrimmage, you know, we've got to throw the football. There's no two ways about it, and you're going to see us air it out. And how well we're going to do it, I'm not sure, but we've got to do that. Obviously, to win a game and to get what you want, you've got to have a good balance of run and pass. Any coach is going to tell you that, Cap, and that's what we would like to do.
What is the highlight of the 1986 season up until this ball game, Phil?
Well, I think, you know, again, I've been asked that, and with all the young kids we've played this year and all the injuries and the adversity we faced, I think the whole season has been a real true reflection on our kids' character and performance. They've really held together with only 4 or 5 lettermen back, and all the adversity we faced with the injuries, etc. We played everybody tough. So I'm pretty proud of the kids. You know, you're never satisfied with a 5-4. I told you that last week or whatever. But I think if you look at things realistically, our kids have performed very admirably, and of course nothing would be better than to top it off tonight with a victory.
What is the key to winning tonight's ball game?
We've got to move the ball on O. I mean, there's no question about that. We just can't consistently turn it over to them and let him heave the ball all over the field, or let them use, you know, they've got a slew of backs. They've got a great offensive backfield. They've got great depth, and they've got a big offensive line, and we cannot allow them to just keep pounding our smaller defensive unit. You know, I think we'll hold up as long as we don't allow that. So we've got to control the ball on offense, and whatever that's going to take, throwing or running or whatever.
Always a pleasure. Best of luck to you and the Raiders.
Thanks, Cap. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's John Caparenas with head coach Phil Arnorella of the Warren Western Reserve Raiders. This is the 19th meeting of the two teams, Warren Harding and Warren Western Reserve, with Reserve having the edge, 11 wins to 7 losses. And Reserve has won the last 3 of 4 meetings here at Mellenkopf, and Reserve won last year 34-10. John?
It's interesting to note in that conversation, Larry, that Phil Arnorella, referring to his offensive line, you made the comment in our pregame comments that the offensive line for Warren Western Reserve has just been decimated through a good portion of the 1986 campaign. Most of them are back now. So the running game last week against Hubbard, with Tony Ford carrying the ball close to 40 times, was behind that offensive line. The offensive line that Phil Arnorella hoped to have with him through the majority of the season. Okay, let's shift our attention over to the Warren Harding Panthers.
Okay, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Warren G. Harding. Look at the guards, Mark Sheehan and Mike Hall. And your 2 tackles, 63 and 76, Kevin Grubbs and John Urisic. And at the center, we'll look at Jay Dyer. And the split in will be Steve Baugh and the tight end number 82, Dan Fenton. The quarterback will be Clayton Waite, and he'll be backed up in the backfield by Mark Perez. And the tailback will be Avery Patterson, and the wingback will be Gentry Matlock. And over on the defensive side of the line, the 2 defensive ends will be Marco Miller and Pat Owen. Defensive tackles will look at Kevin Grubbs tonight and Charles Lilly. And your 2 inside linebackers, number 10, Maha Hamid, and number 34, Gentry Matlock. And number 9 will be Mark Perez. He'll be at the outside linebacking position along with Mike Hall. And your safety will be Steve Baugh, and your halfbacks, Avery Patterson, Tim Lebrator, and Randy Wilson will be at the other halfback. And we are at Mellenkopf Stadium, where we have the This is the 19th meeting of these two teams, and in the interview with the head coach of Warren Western Reserve, Phil Arnorella, he was talking about the quarterback of Warren G. Harding, but Warren Western Reserve has a fine quarterback in himself, and we'll be talking to him a little about him as the game progresses. Now listen to the interview with John Caparenas.
We're talking with Frank Thomas, currently in his 4th year as head coach of the Warren Harding Panthers. Injury bug hasn't hit you for this ball game, but the flu bug has, Frank.
Yeah, I tell you what, either the flu or some virus. It didn't look too good early in the week for us. We had 7 starters on Tuesday that didn't practice, so we were kind of, really very, very, very concerned about. We still have a couple kids tonight that aren't feeling too well, but I mean, it's the reserve game, and you got to play. That's all there is to it.
Ever since you put Clayton Waite at the quarterback spot, the team has really seemed to gel.
Well, there's no doubt that, with Clayton at quarterback, I think we were able to open up and really develop a much more proficient passing attack. And I think the development of Clayton, there's no doubt that our offense has moved the ball a little bit more. Now when you come into play, you cannot just line up and try to stop the tailback or the fullback run. You have to stop the passing game, and it has to be a big part of your consideration. I think that's one of the big reasons that we've been able to roll up over 200 yards offense in the last 2 games we've played.
Okay, let's look at Warren Western Reserve for tonight's ball game. Tony Ford had a big game for them last week. Is he the key to stopping the reserve offense?
Well, I tell you, I really think that it comes down to containment in one word, and what I mean by that is we've got to stop Ford and him in particular, along with Allen's quickness to the outside and their passing game, which is a sprint-out attack, and we've got to contain them. And then I think the other thing that happens is that you get so involved in trying to stop those 2 young men, they pop the fullback up through on you. So it's going to be a game where I think our kids are going to have to read keys real well, and we've got to contain. I think we've got to contain and tackle well.
The Warren Western Reserve defense, led by Garcelle Moss. What are you going to try to do to prevent them from controlling the line of scrimmage?
Well, that's a very good question. You know, we're facing a similar defense in what we did a week ago as we did 2 weeks ago in the Massillon game and in Youngstown East both. All three ball clubs have excellent defensive fronts. We felt our offensive line held their own in the Massillon game and didn't do too badly in the East game, not as well as we would like to see them do. I think the game's going to come down to how well we execute up front. And, you know, there's nothing that you can do, you know, special against Garcelle Moss or against their front. Sometimes Moss lines up to the wide side. Sometimes he's over the center. Sometimes he's over the guard. It just depends. They change their defenses around so much. So we've just got to, you know, block very soundly and just be able to pick up anything that we see. And that's what we've worked real hard on today, is recognizing their fronts and then blocking them.
What is the highlight of the 1986 campaign coming into this ball game for you, Frank?
Well, I tell you, you know, I think the season's been a pretty good season for us. Record-wise, it may not be that great, but we've had a lot of young men that have come a long, long way in football and as people and as players, and I think that's always a big highlight for our coach. I know that wins and losses are definitely very, very important. We'd like to have a heck of a lot more than what we do, but we've played extremely well in the games that we've lost, and those games could have very easily gone either way, and I think for the most part we've had a pretty good season. We've been very competitive, and I think just the maturing of our football team from early in the summer till now is always a real pleasant surprise or a pleasant thing to look back on.
What is the key to you winning tonight's ball game?
Well, I think in a nutshell what we've got to do is we've got to contain their offense and make them go a long distance. They've had problems marching the football. You know, that's not a secret. I think field position is important. I think offensively what we've got to do is control the line of scrimmage. I think if we can do those two things, we'll win the game.
Okay, always a pleasure, Frank, and best of luck to you to the Panthers.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And that was the head coach of Warren G. Harding, Frank Thomas. And he did talk a little bit about Tony Ford of Warren Western Reserve. Last week, Tony Ford produced one of the greatest games as a Western Reserve runner ever. He had rushed the school record 38 times for 169 yards. And that was a 12-0 win over the Hubbard Eagles. And Tony now has 652 yards on 146 carries. Well, it's the color and excitement of high school football, and the band of Warren G. Harding is out on the field. And we'll be back right after this.
The newest, most up-to-date home building center in the entire area is Capps Newton Lumber. Capps has everything you need for your home, from windows and doors to paneling and cabinets. And Capps has complete hardware, electrical, and plumbing departments. Capps features brand name items such as Armstrong ceilings, Peachtree windows, Owens Corning shingles, Stanley tools, Makita power tools, Bruce hardwood floors, Aristocraft kitchens, and Pro hardware. Capps Newton Lumber Home Building Center, located 1 mile east of the Turnpike on Route 5. Now in our second year at our new location.
Hi there, I bet you know who I am. That's right, Appleman, guardian of good taste and fresh ideas at Dick Ackerman's Cortland Ford. Now I'm on TV, must be visually appealing, to bring you that same message. Cortland Ford has fair prices, creative financing, and dependable service. And anyone who asks for me gets a free apple. Cortland Ford, because good car dealers don't grow on trees.
When you do your dealing at Cortland Ford.
Welcome back to Mollenkopf Stadium. And Bob Church, some of your impressions of tonight's football game.
I look, Larry, for a real defensive struggle. The key, I think, as far as Warren Western Reserve goes, is Tony Ford's got to have an excellent ball game. If he's shut off early, it'll force the Raiders to do other things that they're not normally used to doing. On the other hand, I've got to believe that Harding has a little more offensive balance now that Clayton Waite's a quarterback. They can run with Patterson or Marco Miller or Perez, and now with Clayton Waite back there, Reserve's also got to respect the passing of Clayton Waite. So I look for Harding to have a few more guns, but I also look for an excellent defensive struggle.
Okay, we're just about ready for kickoff time. Reserve has won the toss and will receive. Harding will defend the south goal, and that will be the goal to our right-hand side. And to bring you all the play-by-play of tonight's Scholastic football game, John Caparenas.
Thank you very much, Larry. And Warren Harding, as you mentioned, will kick off. And there you see the man to do the booting for the Panthers. number 31, Calvin Johnson. He's the young man that came up from Florida and took about 3 or 4 weeks before the Ohio State Athletic Association declared him eligible, but super football player. Nice leg on him, too. And there's a deep man for Warren Western Reserve, standing at about their own 5-yard line. Bobby Allen on the near side. Tony Ford on the far side. Tony Ford has run back 2 opening kickoffs this year for TDs, and we are just about all set to go. Johnson on the kickoff, and the 19th meeting between Warren Harding and Warren Western Reserve underway. Tony Ford 15, Ford 20, tries to get outside, 25, 30, 35 out of bounds at the Warren Western Reserve 39-yard line. You cannot let that man get loose. He will hurt you. And that time, running the opening kickoff back 34 yards.
We talked about Tony Ford earlier. The opposing coaches talk about Tony Ford. You don't want to give him a little running room. And he might have stepped out of bounds back around the 25-yard line, Cap.
Yeah, that'll knock 9 yards off it. Nevertheless, first down, 10 yards to go for the Raiders. Quarterback number 32, Bobby Allen, 160-pound senior. The fullback number 42, Marcel Williamson, 200-pound junior. And the tailback, Tony Ford, number 20, leading ground gainer on the year for the Raiders. He has the football, 25-30, Ford 35. Ford has the first down of the ball game up at the Warren Western Reserve 38-yard line. So right off the bat, Tony Ford breaking loose for 13 yards.
And as we talked about earlier, it's going to be the defensive line of Warren G. Harding. And if they can contain Tony Ford, there's Tony taking up over the left side of his offensive line, and the hole was there.
First down, 10 yards to go for the Raiders. And, well, let's see. Clock is moving. Tony Ford, they're going to have to call for a timeout. Raiders are going to have to use a timeout within the first half minute of play here at Mollenkopf Stadium. Apparently some equipment problem, Bob Church, on the part of Tony Ford.
Look to me, Cappy, like he broke a chin strap on that first ball carry, and he was looking for an official timeout for an equipment change, and referee Fred Viccarell, I guess he didn't see the question for an official's timeout, and Ford, instead of taking the penalty, asked for the reserve's first timeout.
So right off the bat, Larry Miklas, Warren Western Reserve, expending one of their 3 timeouts.
And they're also doing where they picked up last week against Hubbard. Ford toted the football 38 times for a school record, and they didn't want to go to him that much tonight. But if the young man's going to get the job done, this is the game to do it in.
Interesting, both coaches mentioning as one of the keys of the ball game, the ability to contain the football offensively. And Reserve has the first shot at it. Warren Western Reserve, Bob Church, hasn't passed effectively too much during the course of the campaign. Basically a run control type of team. Think that's going to get Warren Harding into 7 or 8 man defensive lines?
I got to believe it will, Cappy. Until you're burnt deep or they show the pass, you've got to make them run the ball and stop the run.
On the 1st and 10 play for the Raiders, Marcel Williamson carries for 2 up to about the 40-yard line. That'll set up 2nd down, 8 yards to go for Warren Western Reserve. Panthers 2 games ago against the Massillon Tigers took the mighty Massillon Tigers down to the last minute of play before Massillon put it away with a couple of quick touchdowns. Now they're facing the Warren Western Reserve offense. It's had a time getting some points on the board, although Bobby Allen will turn the corner. 45-50, Allen 45, 43-yard line of Warren Western Reserve. So Bobby Allen picks up 17 yards, and that is good enough for the second Raider first down of the ball game.
There you have that tandem in the backfield. Ford and Allen. That time it's a fake. And Allen's going to keep the football. That spreads out the defense. And Harding's going to have a really tough time tonight shutting down the wide stuff.
There's on the isolated replay. You saw defensive left end number 31, Calvin Johnson, blocked inside. That enabled Bobby Allen to get to the outside and pick up the big yardage. Tony Ford trying to turn the corner. He's going to be hit hard way back at about the 48-yard line. Panthers waiting for him that time. Number 12, one of the finest defensive backs in the area. Avery Patterson coming up to make the tackle. In fact, they're going to spot it way back at the Panther 49-yard line. So call it a 6-yard loss on the play. Second down, 16 yards to go for the Raiders.
And that's a good position that Harding wants this reserve offense to be in. Second and long, third and long, and on the replay, you can see how they came in and shut down that wide run. That is just what they're going to have to do to win tonight's football game.
Defensive right end number 56. Jay Dyer really made the play by turning it inside, and Patterson came up to make the hit and drop Ford for the loss. Tony Ford again. Ford for maybe 2, down to the 47-yard line. Again tripped up on the play by Dyer. That'll set up third down. And let's call it 14 yards to go for the Raider first down.
Well, the Warren defensive line right now is coming off the ball the last 2 plays. They had great penetration. And Warren Western Reserve is going to find themselves now third down and 15 with 8:57 remaining here in the first quarter.
Richard Page will split to the left side. Wing T in the backfield. Third and long. Bobby Allen to put it up with protection. Fires over the middle and intercepted by Patterson. Avery Patterson 30. Patterson knocked down at the 34-yard line. Rod Dantzler, the intended receiver, but we just made comment about Avery Patterson's defensive exploits, and he comes up with the first turnover of the ball game.
That was a big turnover for Harding. Quarterback having a lot of time to throw the football. It was a sprint out. Great defensive play by Patterson, who hauled it in, and that's just what they wanted, third and long, and now they've got the football. And the Panthers will be moving it on offense.
Yeah, we said it was Patterson. That's another fine defensive back for the Panthers. Number 13, Steve Baugh. He and Patterson, 2 of the best you'll see running in a defensive backfield throughout the area. Nevertheless, first and 10 for the Panthers. Ball carrier, I believe, is Avery Patterson as he takes it up to about the 36-yard line. In the backfield for Warren Harding, the quarterback, the sophomore, Clayton Waite. His name seems familiar. His older brother, Tony, quarterbacked the Panthers for a couple of years, graduating last year. He's a 165-pound sophomore. He's been the starter for the last 5 ball games, and the Panthers have seemed to gel during that 5-game span. Fullback number 9, Mark Perez, 160-pound senior, and the tailback number 12, Avery Patterson, 185-pound senior. Second down, 8 yards to go. Patterson, the ball carrier, into close to the 45-yard line. Let's change that to Marco Miller for his first carry of the night.
We're going to watch some good blocks up inside by the offensive line by Harding. And watch Patterson take the football. He's got good penetration off the offensive line for Warren G. Harding.
Frank Thomas will run basically 3 backs. Mark Perez, number 9. Avery Patterson, number 12, and Marco Miller, number 23. All averaging between 4 and 5 yards per pickup. Oh, Clayton Waite goes down at the 41-yard line. It was 3rd and inches, and Waite lost 3 on the play. Just got his feet tangled up underneath him. And that will set up a 4th down and our first punting situation of the ballgame.
Reserve is throwing about an 8 or 9-man front up there, Cap, and missed handoff, or he fumbled the snap, but Harding's going to be faced with their first punt of the night.
Bobby Allen in single safety. High kick. Allen will take it at the 20, fumbles the football, and on the muff, I believe the Raiders recover at their own 19-yard line. Forty-yard boot, no return by Bobby Allen. In fact, it seemed to be acting like a knuckleball, Larry, when he was trying to field it.
Well, I don't know if the wind is playing any factor or not. It's blowing in out of the southeast, and that ball looked like it was going to be fielded cleanly, but he had misjudged it a little bit. It could have been a big turnover to put Harding in good position. Now here's Reserve on the offense. 1st and 10.
Out of the I formation in the backfield. Tony Ford across the 20 up to the 23-yard line. About a 3-yard pickup on the play. That'll set up 2nd down, 7 yards to go for the Raiders. And again, the Panthers, Bob Church, testing that right side of the Harding defensive line.
That's right, Cappy. one thing I've noticed in the early going here is Reserve is not trying to beat Harding in the trenches. They're trying to beat him around the corners. And with the last series that Reserve had, Larry was mentioning a great penetration Harding was getting. That opens the defense up for a reverse or a double reverse or some kind of flea flicker or something like that that beats penetration.
2nd down, 7 on the counter play. Tony Ford up to about the 26-yard line. Another 3-yard pickup on the play for Tony Ford. Tackled on the play by number 79, Charles Lilly. Lilly goes 221 pounds. He's only a junior. 3rd down, 3 yards to go for the Raiders.
It looks like Tony Ford's heading to a lot of rushes tonight. I believe that's about his 6th toe with the football. Fifth carry tonight, and Reserve is going to have to move the ball out wide right now.
4:50 remaining, first quarter. 3rd down, 3 yards to go. Allen on the bootleg. Allen does have the first down. Good second effort. He is hit at the 28, but spun forward in the grasp of Mark Perez to pick up. Well, at least from our viewpoint, it looks close enough for the first down, but Fred Piccarello going to make sure. With 4 minutes, 32 seconds remaining, first quarter of a scoreless ball game.
Well, we've got the first measurement of tonight, and it's going to be a possession down if Reserve could make this first down, and it's going to be just right over the stick. So big first down for Warren Western Reserve. There's 4:32 remaining here in the first quarter with no score, and the ball at the 30-yard line.
3rd first down of the ball game for the Raiders. First down, 10 yards to go at their own 30-yard stripe. Phil Anarola and Frank Thomas both saying that possession of the football very likely to determine who's going to win this ball game. Offensive line back for Warren Western Reserve. It made a difference last week in the game under adverse field conditions against the Hubbard Eagles. Tony Ford for maybe a yard. 6th carry of the night for the 155-pound senior running back for the Raiders. That'll set up 2nd down, 9 yards to go.
You know, of all the good runners in Trumbull County, Cap, Tony Ford is number 9 on the rushing list, and he has carried the football 146 times. He's got 652 yards rushing.
That breaks down to 4.5 yards per carry for Tony Ford. Vince Davis, by the way, and John F. Kennedy leading both in rushing and in scoring. Bobby Allen will put it up. Allen dumps it off, incomplete. Ford wide open at the 35, but the pass over his head, and that'll set up 3rd down, 9 yards to go for the Raiders. You notice, Bob, the Harding defense starting maybe a yard closer to that line of scrimmage from what they were when the ball game began.
Well, Bobby Allen's thrown the ball twice. One was an interception, and the other one was just thrown here, and it was incomplete. Again, you've got to either burn them deep or at least show them you can throw the ball downfield. And Reserve hasn't done it much all year, and Harding's saying, okay, we know you run the ball, beat us by throwing it.
Dantzler will be the wide out to the near side along with number 18, Richard Page. One back behind quarterback Bobby Allen. 3rd and 9. Allen under pressure. Allen under pressure. Allen going to fire as a man. Incomplete at the 45-yard line of Warren Harding. But excellent defensive play by the Panthers. Number 34 in your screen, Gentry Madlock getting a hand on it, or else Mr. Page is going to go for big yardage.
The linebacker's got a really good drop on that play, and Allen scrambled out of the pocket while they're sprinting him out tonight, as they do all the time. But if that ball's not tipped, Reserve might have 6 points on the board. So Harding's playing good defense now, and they should be getting the football back in fairly decent field position.
Bobby Allen to do the booting from his own 18. Short kick. It'll be fielded at the Panther 45 and hammered right there. There you see number 28 who fielded the punt, Sam Suttons, and first down, 10 yards to go for Warren Harding after a 24-yard boot by Bobby Allen.
And this takes a lot of concentration, because you're going back to field this punt, and if you drop it, the other team's going to have the football in great field position, and he took a hit there, and the young man held on to it.
First down, 10 yards to go. Marco Miller's spinning for a couple. Gets up to the 48-yard line. Marcel Williamson from the Tough Blood defense. Let's talk a little bit about that Blood defense. They've only allowed double figures to 2 of their opponents coming into this one, and they're led by number 58, Garcelle Moss, who's having a spectacular season at that defensive tackle position.
Hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of replays tonight and watch this young man work. He's a fine defensive football player.
He's landing right now almost, well, he was directly over the center. Second down, he's into the backfield, but Mark Perez is going to pick up maybe a yard. But you saw number 58 coming through and busting up the interference. He caused that play to go down the tubes for the Panthers. In fact, no yards gained on the play, so call it third down, 8 yards to go.
Let's take a look at this play again. Watch the penetration from the reserves, inside lineman, interior lineman. From ground level, there's no place to run in there. So both teams playing really good defense, the interior lines.
Marco Miller slotted to the left side. Clayton Wait for the first time to put it up. Fires over the middle, batted around, and incomplete. Marcel Williamson from the Raiders, along with defensive co-captain Travis Young, going after the tip pass. Both batting it away from each other, and it'll go as a fourth down punting situation for Warren Harding.
Clayton Wait standing in the pocket, waiting for his receiver to clear. And the linebackers were there to tip it away, and there they go. They played volleyball, and reserve could have had it in great field position. Here's Harding's punt.
Randy Wilson with a good kick. Bobby Allen will touch it inside the 10, rolling into the end zone, and it goes for a touchback. So again, Randy Wilson taking advantage of the wind blowing. Had an excellent punt. It goes for 53 yards, no return, and the Raiders will put it in play. First down, 10 yards to go at their own 20-yard line. Frank Thomas coming at Bob Church for an interpretation on.
I think the interpretation they're looking for, Cap, is they felt Allen touched the ball and they fallen on the end zone, and Frank Thomas wants a safety, and the officials are telling him no, that the ball was not touched, and it's a touchback in high school football, and the reserve Raiders get it on their own 20-yard line.
1 minute, 29 seconds remaining first quarter. Scoreless ball game, the 19th meeting between Warren Harding and Warren Western Reserve. Brogdon shifting over to the tight end on the left side. Tony Ford going to be tripped up in the backfield. Lost a yard on the play. Bar Hamid, number 10, 195-pound junior inside linebacker on the right side, causing the damage. That'll set up second down, 11 yards to go for Warren Western Reserve.
You know, you can't let records fool you. Harding has a tremendous defense, and they're showing it tonight, right now. And they're shutting down Tony Ford so far in this football game. Whether it happens throughout the night remains to be seen.
Second down, 11 yards to go. Again, Brogdon shifting over to the left side. Bobby Allen, whistle, and no whistle on the play. Tony Ford, the ball carrier, again getting very little, if any. And there was a flag on the play, so they killed that play with 30 seconds of clock continuing to move. I think that's a flag, Bob Church. Around
That's a piece of paper or something. It was a towel, for a Raider towel.
So that'll set up third down, 11 yards to go for the Raiders. And coming up to possibly our last play of the first quarter. 15 seconds remaining, quarter number one. And the Raiders just waiting. They want to take advantage of that win. Blowing from south to north here at Mollenkopf Stadium. And there is the whistle indicating the end of quarter number one. So the 19th meeting between Warren Harding and Warren Western Reserve. First quarter ends in a deadlock, 0-0. And we'll be back with second quarter action. But first, we're going to pause for this message.
exercise to keep fit, so I look and feel my best. To keep my car body fit, I take it to Tough Coat Dynol. For their System 6 Sunshine Glaze, to keep it shine for years. Their inner coat to protect its seats and carpets. And their two-step penetrator rust protection to keep the body sound, so it looks great while I drive it, lasts longer, and is worth more when I trade it. Believe me, it pays to keep your body fit.
To keep your newer used car fit, insist on Tough Coat Dynol, the body fitness experts.
Welcome back to Mollenkopf Stadium. There's no score in the football game, and this has been a good defensive struggle so far. So far, it's been the carrying of Tony Ford, and he's toted the football 7 times tonight. First downs, Harding has no first down. Reserve has 3. Yards rushing, 5 for 10 yards for Harding, 11 for 38 for Reserve. In the passing category, no interceptions, no completes for Harding, and 0 for 3 for Reserve. Cap?
Third down, 11 yards to go as they open up the second quarter. Raiders have it at their own 19-yard line. Bobby Allen, on the quarterback keeper, will pick up maybe 5. In fact, he might have got up to the 25-yard line, so give him 6 on the play, but call it 4th down. And another punting situation for Warren Western Reserve. Allen will do the booting, and this time with the wind behind him.
You know, little by little, Harding is getting a little bit better field position. And they should have some real fine field position now if the punt is it's a clean punt and Harding fields it properly.
Low snap from center, but Bobby Allen with an end-over-end kick. Sutton will take it at his own 47 to the 50 to the 47-yard line of Warren Western Reserve. 5-yard return by number 28, Sam Sutton, after a boot by Bobby Allen of 28 yards. And for the first time in the ball game, Warren Harding has the ball in Warren Western Reserve territory.
That time of possession in the first quarter, Cap, Harding had the football 4 minutes. Reserve had the ball 8 minutes, and either team has penetrated the end zone so far.
First down, 10 yards to go. Man in motion is Avery Patterson. Wait to put it up. Hit as he fires. Incomplete. And hitting him, number 58, Garcelle Moss. Intended receiver on the play down at the 30-yard line was Patterson. But the pass underthrown due to the pressure applied by the senior defensive tackle for the Raiders. That'll set up 2nd and 10.
You guys were talking about the Harding defensive front and their linebackers. Watch Reserve on defense this time. They've got 8 men within 5 yards of the ball. They're not respecting Wade's passing at all. They're just saying, if you're going to beat us by throwing us, that's the way we're going to get beat, but you're not going to jam it down our throats.
Double wide out to the near side. 2nd down, 10 yards to go for the Panthers from the Warren Western Reserve 47. Waits to put it up. Pass complete at the 40. No, he dropped the ball. Good hit by the Raiders. Intended receiver was Bob, but number 18, Richard Page, from his cornerback spot, really applied a hit to him.
Well, Waits is firing the football. That time he had a little bit more time to throw the ball. He had his receiver turn in a little hook pattern. The ball was put right on the numbers, but a good hit in there, and that will cause the ball to pop out anytime, any day.
Incompleted pass will stop it with 10:47 remaining second quarter. Set up 3rd down, 10 yards to go for the Panthers.
I was watching Garcelle Moss on that play, Cap, and this kid is quick. I mean, it was like he came out of the Harding huddle and knew the snap count. He was on the center like quick.
See how the Raider defense plays it this time. Wade on the draw. Running room, Perez, 45, down to the 41-yard line. Play just a little slow in developing, or Mark Perez is going to pick up big yardage. Brought down on the play by linebacker Marcel Williamson. A pickup of 8 on the, make it 5 on the play, and that will set up 4th down and a punting situation for Warren Harding.
That was just a draw play. That helps that reserve pass rush slow down a little bit, and that's what they're going to have to do.
High snap from center. Kick away. Line drive kick. Allen at his own 13 to the 15 and no more. Panthers doing an excellent job covering the punts. Number 69 again doing the booting, Randy Wilson. A punt that time of 28 yards. 2-yard return by Bobby Allen. And on the trade-offs of punts ever since early in the first quarter, you mentioned, Larry, the Raiders going deeper and deeper into their own territory.
Also, we noticed the offensive strategy right now for reserve. They're running forward to the right side, and they want to sprint Allen back to the left side. They want to stay outside the ends and once in a while try to penetrate up the middle. Let's see what they do here.
First down, 10 yards to go from their own 15. Tony Ford has a couple of blocks, 15, 420, 425, 430, 440, Tony Ford 45. Ford into Warren Harding territory at the Panther 46-yard line. 39-yard gallop by Tony Ford. And for the Raiders, their 4th first down of the ballgame.
Camp, I didn't get the number of the two guys blocking this wall here, but watch how they seal this off for Tony Ford. Good runners are made by good blockers. Watch, there's the seal blocks there. Now Tony Ford's got the 2 steps. He takes the sidelines, cuts it in. By that time, the pursuit brought him down at the 45-yard line.
Avery Patterson saving a Warren Western Reserve touchdown. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. 9:20 remaining, second quarter, scoreless ball game. Allen on the bootleg right side, running out of blockers, and he's going to go down. Knee touched at the 47, so give him a net -1 on the play and call it second down. And 11 yards to go for the Raiders.
Well, it's like you gentlemen were saying in the first quarter. Reserve is not even attempting to beat Harding in the middle. They're trying to beat him around the corners, like Larry said. Ford to the right, Allen to the left, and they switched it that time. Ford came to the left and found an opening on the left corner and beat him around the corner and went for big yardage.
Manny Lewis, the man, flanked to the left side. Double reverse time, fumbled by the Raiders. Fumbled by the Raiders, picked up, 40, 50, 40, 30, ball to the 20, ball to the 10, ball to the 5, touchdown Warren Harding. Steve Bond, a 60-yard ramble after a Western Reserve fumble to make it 6-0 the Panthers. 8 minutes, 23 seconds remaining first half.
Steve Ball with an outstanding recovery of a fumble. How many times have you seen a defensive back come in to pick up the football, kick it, goes back to the offense, or kicks it out of bounds? He had great concentration. He picked the ball up on a 2-hop run, took it off down the right sidelines, and Harding's defense is playing excellent football tonight.
Earl Beresford to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Michael Hall. Six to nothing, 8:23 remaining first half. Ball is down. Beresford, his kick is in the air, and the kick is no good. No good off to the right side. Could be a big extra point missed by the Panthers. We're going to watch Steve Bond action one more time. One thing you have to notice, Larry, watch how he waits for that fumble to bounce up.
It took great concentration, because when you're in a midst of 11 players from the other side of the team, you just want to pounce on the football. Reserve almost gets the ball back here. Now it's knocked away, but watch how he picked it up. Now he scampers down the right sideline. He had an escort, but he didn't need it. Yes, he did right there.
Mark Perez throwing the block that enabled Baugh to move into the end zone for the first touchdown of the ballgame.
Well, Bob Church earlier were talking about how Reserve wasn't opening it up. Now they're going to have to throw the football, too.
Well, the one thing, Larry, is it's still early in the ball game. You're only down 6. You can pretty much stick to your game plan, but I've got to feel if you're Phil Andrella, you've either got to give the ball to the other back or you've got to throw the football, because, you know, Ford can't do it all by himself. He did it last week against Hubbard and broke records and everything else. But Harding has 3 men on Tony Ford out of the locker room. Every time Tony Ford gets the ball, he's got 3 guys in his face.
Calvin Johnson will kick off for the Panthers. Ford and Bobby Allen, the 2 deep men, standing at about their own 10-yard line. High kick, short kick. Allen will take it at the 15. Allen to the 18, looking for the wall. Allen 25 and hit at the 25-yard line. Good hit on the far side by the Panthers. Number 28 making initial contact. That's Sam Sutton. return. They're going to give him the 26-yard line, so call it a 7-yard kickoff return, and first down, 10 yards to go for the Raiders.
But it was one thing Phil Annarella did say in the pregame: you don't want to turn the ball over to this Harding offense, and right there they did, and they're down 6. They've got to control the ball.
Manny Lewis will split to the left side. First down, 10 yards to go for the Raiders. Twice they've been into Warren Harding territory. Once losing it on an interception, the next time, as you just saw, on a 60-yard fumble recovery return for the game's only touchdown. Ball carrier up the middle for maybe a yard out to the 28-yard line.
Well, Kevin Grubbs just played off his block. Tremendous inside and made a good hit. Reserve is finding it very tough right now to run the football. These guys like Grubbs, Owen, and Miller doing a great job inside for the Panthers.
Second down, 9 yards to go for Warren Western Reserve. There you see Calvin Johnson. He's the young man who transferred up here from Florida. All-state at Florida last year as a junior. Dukes and Ford in the backfield for the Raiders. Darrell Dukes, sophomore fullback. Bobby Allen will give it to Tony Ford, and Ford is going to be hit for a loss. Looked like they might have been setting up the halfback option pass, but the Panthers just too quick on defense.
You watch the quarterback that time. After the handoff, he rolls out to the left. It might have been a play where the quarterback's going to be the receiver on that play.
A loss of about 6 on the play. Third down, 15 yards to go for Warren Western Reserve. 6 minutes, 30 seconds remaining second quarter. Raiders on the short end of a 6-0 score at the crosstown rival Warren Harding. Nice crowd here this evening at Moltenkopf Stadium. Wing T in the backfield. Ball carrier is Ford, and Tony Ford going to pick up maybe one, but that is it. Defensively for the Warren Harding Panthers coming up to make the stop. Again, the defensive right end. Number 86, Pat Owen. And that will set up fourth down and a punting situation for the Raiders. Halfway through quarter number 2, Panthers leading 6-0. Tell you, time of possession favored the Raiders in the first quarter, and probably is going to favor them here in quarter number 2, but just because Warren Harding hasn't had their offense out on the field. They scored 6 touchdowns on the D.
Of the 12 minutes, Reserve had the football 8 of the 12, and Harding had it 4 minutes.
There's the man who scored the touchdown, Steve Baugh, being assisted to the sideline by Ron Savangros, and I'm sure Ron Savangros with mixed feelings this evening. He was assistant trainer at Warren Western Reserve for years, and this year with the retirement of Gerald Ruschel, who went into private practice, Ron Savangros now doing the thing for the red and white. End over end kick. Sutton, oh, what a circus. Graham, he might have fumbled the ball. At the 50, he did, and the Warren Western Reserve Raiders have recovered. That wind is playing havoc with the punt returners that have to go to the north side of the field.
If you can look at the flag in the north end zone, Cap, it's really well. Watch this kick now. Probably looks like a knuckleball. And these receivers of the punts are having a heck of a time trying to bring the ball in. That's a big turnover. There's a look at the flags now on the east side of the stadium. But it's very comfortable tonight for football. In fact, you don't even have your mittens on tonight.
That's right. Sutton, I believe, the man injured for Warren Harding. We saw Bobby Allen twice on punts in the first quarter, Bob Church, do about the same thing. Just before the ball got to him, it looked like he was lunging out for it, similar to what a catcher does when they're catching Phil Niekro.
That's right, Cappy. It's not so much tonight. I don't think it'll be distance as much as it is height on the punts, because if you get the ball up in the air, as we've noticed on a few punts early in the ball game, the wind gets a hold of it, it does funny things, and you get set under the ball, and then it knuckles on you, and you got to back up or move up or something that you're not used to doing, and then it causes trouble handling the ball.
Well, in the first quarter, you recall that Bobby Allen almost got a hand on it, almost resulted in a safety for the Raiders, but official Fred Vicarella and his crew saying that he did not touch it. It went as a touchback. this time around as you see some of the things coming up on TCI Sports, and in particular that last item, high school basketball. There you see Sutton coming off the field. At any rate, that time Sutton doing his Chris Bando imitation, and he lost the ball, and the Raiders recovered. The first down, 10 yards to go for Warren Western Reserve. Coming up in December, high school basketball over TCI. Should be excellent round ball. Bobby Allen, 45, 43-yard line of Warren Harding. Power sweep that time, no trickery. A pickup of 7 on the play. That'll set up second down, 3 yards to go.
We'll take a look at Bobby Allen. He does this best, the sprint outs, and off that sprint out, he can throw the football. And we're at ground level. Here he comes right at you. Bobby Allen picked up some good yardage. It'll be second down and short for Reserve.
Sean Matlock will split to the left side. Second down, let's call it about a 2 yards, long 2 yards to go for the Raiders. Allen will throw. Allen fires over the middle, complete to Matlock. Inside the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Sean Matlock on the receiving end of that pass from Bobby Allen. A pickup of 18 on the play. Good enough for the 5th first down of the ball game for the Warren Western Reserve Raiders.
Matlock just running a pattern into the middle of the defense. As Allen rolls out to his right and finds him, he splits the zone, and he's down to the 25-yard line. So Reserve's got some momentum going. It's 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line as they head into the north end zone.
Mark Perez and the cousin of Sean Matlock, Gentry Matlock, making the tackle, but first down, 10 yards to go for the Raiders, trailing 6-0. 4:20 remaining first half. Bobby Allen trying to get outside, gets down to the 20, maybe to the 19-yard line. A pickup of 5 on the play by Allen. Mark Perez slowing him down, enabling help to come up from the outside. That'll set up 2nd and 5 with 3:55 remaining second quarter. Raiders still with 2 timeouts remaining. But right now, Larry, in 4-down territory.
Oh, yes, they're in 4-down territory, and you better believe they'll be going for it.
Matlock, the wide out to the left side. Wing T in the backfield. Allen on the quarterback keeper. Takes his way inside the 15 and picks up the first down at the Panther 14-yard line. Twice, Bob Church, Warren Western Reserve has used that quarterback draw, and it's picked up pretty big yardage for them.
Well, whenever in trouble, Cappy, you go to your power runner, and Bobby Allen showed that he's not afraid to shove it up the middle, and he's taken up the middle twice for big yardage. So they're making Harding respect the middle now. They're beating him around the corners. They're almost beating him around the corners. That spreads your defense long ways. Now you try to beat him up the middle, which tightens it back up, which opens up your corners again.
3:15 remaining second quarter. Man split out to the right side. Richard Page. Wing T in the backfield. Ball carrier Tony Ford on the counter down to the 10-yard line. Pickup of 4 on the play. Second down, 6 yards to go for the Raiders. 6-0. Warren Harding scoring with 8:23 remaining here in quarter number 2. When Steve Baugh recovered a fumble at the Panther 40 and rambled 60 yards, aided by a block by Mark Perez for the touchdown. That score came with 8 minutes, 23 seconds remaining in the first half. Now we're down to 2:30 remaining second quarter. Second down, 6 yards to go for the Raiders on the Panther 10-yard line. Allen on the keeper, has blockers. Good defensive play by the Panthers. Looked like Allen might cut his way through for the touchdown, but fighting off a block, I believe that was number 57, Michael Hall. A pickup of about 1 on the play, so called it third down.
Matlock was in on that play too, Cap. Very well coached defense. Okay, they stayed at home. They didn't let the fake fool them. That's what Reserve's going to do. They're faking inside. You want the linebackers to come inside, and then hopefully they could spring forward on the outside, or Allen carrying the football.
Third down, about 5 yards to go for the Raiders. If they don't make the first down, interesting decision for Phil Annarella. He's trailing 6-0. A field goal with his one behind his back will cut it in half, and Allen on the quarterback keeper takes it down to about the 6-yard line, but that'll set up 4th down and about 2 yards to go for the Raider first down.
You know, that's one of those plays. You've got Harding thinking wide, and you take it up the middle again. That time, Harding shut it down.
Timeout indicated by Warren Western Reserve. Their second of the first half. It'll stop the clock with 2:07 remaining second quarter. And the Raiders trailing the Panthers 6-0. They'll have it fourth down, about 2 yards to go at the Panthers 6-yard line. Bob Church, what do you do in this situation?
Well, Cappy, if you got a razzle-dazzle play, I got to believe this is where you go with it, because you got your defensive ends and your secondary got to be checking out the corners so you don't get beat around the ends, and the tackles and the middle linebacker are going to shut down the middle. So I've got to look to try and do something against Harding's pursuit. They got to make Harding make a mistake defensively, and I would look for something like a double reverse or a halfback option pass or something like that.
There you see the National Hockey League on Pilot 9 Sports. Pittsburgh Penguins really off to a fine start on the 1986-87 campaign. Our November schedule: Pittsburgh at Minnesota. That's a week from Saturday. Night, November 8th at 8:30. Pittsburgh will be at the Calgary Flames November 20th, a 9:30 contest. And the Penguins down at Washington November 22nd at 7:30. All games live on Channel 9. And we mentioned the fact high school basketball coming up in about a month, so plenty of activity from TCI Sports coming your way. 4th and 2. Allen fires, tip, intercepted in the end zone. Matlock fumbles the football. And let's see who recovers. Oh, they're going to call it a touchback. Raiders close to scoring on that one. Oh boy, what a play. Ball was tipped before it went into the end zone. Intercepted by the Panthers, didn't catch his number. He fumbled, and it looked like Lester Stovall came very close to recovering it for the Raider touchdown.
And the defender looks like he might have wanted to come out of the end zone. Let's take a look at this again, Cap. He might have got one step out of the end zone, and if he did, he got one out and he came back in with it.
He did. Matlock was out of the end zone. Lost the ball back into the end zone. They're calling it a touchback. He definitely had 1 foot over the goal line. Watch it here. Now, you couldn't quite see it that well on the ISO. But he did come back into play. That should be, theoretically, a safety, Bob Church.
I'm not real sure on the call there, Cappy.
At any rate, it's 1st and 10 for the Panthers from their own 20-yard line. And moving it up to the 25, Marco Miller. With 1:50 remaining in the first half, and the Panthers continuing to lead 6-0. Man brings a foot. He caught it in the end zone. He brings a foot into play, and he goes back into the end zone. He's susceptible to a 2-point safety.
The only thing that saved him on that play, Cappy, was when he fumbled the ball, the Harding Panthers recovered. Other than that, you got a situation that's not good to explain to the coach at halftime.
2nd and 5, 1:25 remaining in the half. Raiders missing an excellent scoring opportunity. I believe Marco Miller again the ball carrier up to the 30, and that will be Warren Harding's first down of the ball game. Comes with 1:20 remaining here in the second quarter. And the only points on the scoreboard a result of Steve Baugh's 60-yard ramble with a loose football fumble recovery at the Panther 40-yard line.
It's going to be interesting to see if Harding wants to sit on his football or put it up for grabs.
They're going to just kill the clock. Marco Miller again the ball carrier. Another 5-yard pickup on the play as we wind down to 50 seconds before halftime. Might have one of the premier stars from Warren High School football coming up at halftime. Dave Preston, who just completed an excellent tenure down at West Virginia University. Might be talking to him on some of his memories of this excellent rivalry between the Panthers and the Raiders. 2nd and 5, could be the last play of the first half. Mark Perez for maybe 4 up to the 38, but it's going to be about 2 yards shy of the necessary yardage. And with the clock showing 10 seconds remaining in the half, Raiders will not stop it. And that should be the end of quarter number 2. Down to 4 seconds. And there is the whistle indicating the end of the first half of the 19th meeting between Warren Harding and Warren Western Reserve. The score at halftime, the Panthers 6, the Raiders nothing. We'll be back with halftime information, statistics, and more for you. But first, we're going to pause for this message.
Franklin Pharmacy and Healthcare Center at 1732 Youngstown Road in Warren offers the finest surgical supplies and durable medical equipment. While complete prescription service is still our specialty, we offer everything needed to ensure your comfort. Franklin has the largest ostomy department between Cleveland and Pittsburgh.